The neighbor's dog won't stop barking. So I'm just sitting here waiting to film my next video. Rude. Don't you know I'm trying to film a YouTube video here? I hope this real life drama isn't relatable for you. However, these are your stories. If you want to submit a story, the link is in every description of every video. It's down below. If it's full, it will reopen. Okay? I promise. I don't want to miss all your posts, so I only take a certain amount at every time, or else it's overwhelming. We want to get to them. The first story wants to be left anonymous. The one night stand I will never forget. Oh. Was it that good or was it that bad? I had just turned 21, female, and was quite the drinker and definitely not proud of myself or the choices I made in those days. Amen to that. Recently, I ended a short-term relationship with a military guy. I was out for drinks with a coworker when from behind, I'm grabbed by my ex's best friend, 23 male. He had been known to steal his girlfriends from him and I never could see why. I didn't think he was attracted when sober. But apparently this night, I either wanted revenge or something because I ended up going back to his dorm room with him. Your ex's best friend? That's savage. He decided to sit down with us and have a few drinks. My coworker ended up leaving around midnight and he invited me to stay longer. I don't remember a lot from when my coworker left to when we got to his dorm. We got to it right away and after a bit, he asked to enjoy it from behind. We're all getting very close on this channel, aren't we? We really are. I wasn't sure what to do as I had never done this before, but I gave in. Oh my gosh. Okay. And eventually we ended our shenanigans. He fell asleep right away and I laid there as I started to sober up and realized what I had done. I got up and I grabbed my things and I got dressed. I snuck out of his dorm without waking him. Then I called my girlfriend to pick me up. She was so used to getting late night calls from her dad, so she answered. She said, I'll meet you at the gate. I was like, how do I even get there from where I'm at? As soon as I had that thought, I realized, oh gosh, I need to go to the bathroom. No, not a number one, but a number two. I went back to his dorm and realized the door was locked. Oh gosh, I looked all over for a bathroom with no luck. I found the best spot I could, which was a common area. I found a post and I let it go. I found some paper towels and I wiped them. Okay. We can never not be friends after this. You know, all of us here in this moment, we know too much. And now I really see why you left it anonymous. I tried to cover it for some reason and then left. As I walked out the door, a gentleman walked by and I'm sure my face was bright red. Remember, this is like 2 a.m. in the morning and I'm doing the walk of shame to the gate where my friend was waiting for me. I absolutely didn't tell her what had happened and the only person other than my husband that knows this story is me. A one night stand that ended with quite the story. I never saw him again or my ex and I still wonder what happened the next day when everyone woke up. Well then, I mean, I am honored that you chose us to share this story with, since no one knows. That is quite the adventure, I would say. Next story is coming in from Miss S. It started while I was in a 3-year-long relationship. I was talking with 2 people online that were dating each other. The guy had a cat that got kittens and I wanted one of them. We arranged everything online and when my girl was 4 months old, he and his girlfriend took the 2 hours trip down to give us the cat. After that, we kept in contact so he could hear how the cat was doing. Him and his girlfriend broke up like sometimes people do. Eventually, I also worked up the courage to leave my abusive boyfriend, a story for another time, and of course, kept my 2 cats. The guy I got the cat from asked if he could visit me on the weekend 2 weeks after my breakup. Thinking that we were friends, since I've always made friends easier with men rather than women, I thought nothing of it and said he could come. I had a couch that he could sleep on, no problemo. He arrived and we had a good weekend. We watched some movies and just chilled like friends do. After he went back home, he confessed via text that he had feelings for me. I told him honestly that I needed to be single after 3 years with an abuser and I couldn't promise him anything in the future. Friendship is all that I had to offer. It was up to him if he wanted to continue the friendship, which he chose to do. He asked if he could visit me again the next weekend. Again, I allowed it. The couch was still there and he accepted, and without trying anything. We had another nice, chilling weekend and he went back home. He kept texting me every day, several times a day, which he had done since I had become single. The first real glimpse of who he was came a few days after the second visit. I don't remember if I was taking a shower or what I was doing, but I came in to find 2 texts on my phone. The first one was a normal "Hi, how are you doing?" text, but the second one had been sent 5 minutes later, and it said, "Why don't you answer? I feel like I'm losing you." Hold up. What? Losing me? You don't have me. We're not together and it's been 5 freaking minutes. Chill, dude. I told him to relax and I said what I had been doing and he apologized, but the damage was done. I was seeing him in another light. The next day, he sent me a link to a house on sale on the edge of our town. I had seen the house since it's one that I passed by when driving in and out of town. It's just lying there by itself with no neighbors, and it had gotten known by everyone since the last owners were 3 friends buying it to create a brothel, which the town quickly shut down when people figured out what was going on. That's an interesting story. I would like to hear that story. He followed up with that he wanted to buy it and move to this town so that we could be together. Be together? I've already said I'm only interested in friendship. I started feeling icky about the whole situation and I wasn't sure how to handle it. He kept texting every day and a pattern started from that week. Every time I didn't answer, within 5 minutes, the same text came word for word. "Why don't you answer? I feel like I'm losing you." I had enough the day I was dealing with a headache and I just wanted to take a long nap. I fell asleep on the couch while the TV was running. When I woke up again, he had gone crazy in text because I hadn't answered in 2 hours. Of course, there was the original, "Why don't you answer? I feel like I'm losing you." But after I didn't answer that one as well, he just went crazy, pretending to be worried and wondering if something bad happened to me. And then the darker ones about him hurting himself. Oh, this is bizarre. I finally had enough. I told him to back off and that I needed some space from him completely with how crazy he was acting. He tried apologizing again, but I told him I needed to be by myself without him contacting me, and that I would contact him again if I ever felt like we could become friends again. He luckily accepted it. I think he thought I just needed time and that I would reach out again, but I never did. Several months later, after I got back in contact with his ex-girlfriend online, she still ran the same circles as him and she wanted to know what had happened since she didn't think that his story was adding up. I told her what I've written in the story and just that it got too crazy in a way too short of a time. The man was about to leave his job and hometown behind to move to my town on a fantasy. She then told me what he had been telling others. According to him, we were dating and we were going to move in together in that house. And then I broke up with him out of nowhere. She knew he had a thing with accusing and apologizing and acting weird to reel you in, which was why she had broken up with him back in the days. And she recognized his way of talking about me as something she couldn't fully believe. Be careful out there. That's bizarre. After saying you just want to be friends, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy this house and move there so we can be together." I didn't even want to be together when we were in different cities. What makes you think I want you to move here? That's cuckoo bonkers. For sure. Next story is also anonymous. None of y'all want to tell me who you are. I understand, for real. I am a 48 female who has many health issues, but first let's back up. My father cheated on my mom when I was 5 and left my mom for the school bus driver. Many weekends, he would just miss his visitation weekends with not even a call, and I grasped onto any hope that I could. My father ended up reading my diary when I was 9 years old, and his wife then refused to let him have a relationship with me. His own daughter. I never understood why, and sadly won't ever get that answer, as his wife unalived him in 2011? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Tell me her name. I want to look up her mugshot. She always made comments within this family that I was not his biological daughter, and I stood on ground that she was living in Delulu land. Now fast forward to October of 2023. I had an abnormal mammo followed by ultrasound and MRI. I have severe health problems that no one in my family ever had. I didn't ever question it, thinking perhaps this came from my father's side, of which I never really knew. So with that, I took a genetic test to see if I had a genetic mutation to cause breast cancer. I just want to hug you for all your health problems, let alone everything else that you've gone through. Upon trying to tell my mom of this test, she became quiet, distant, and took a trip to go see family in another state. Seemed strange, but okay, sure. Perhaps a coping thing for her. She returned about 10 days later after I mailed off my sample. With the results pending, I started to fall into a depressed state. My mom knocked on my door and asked if we could talk. This wasn't abnormal. We talked about everything. We held no secrets, or so I thought. With a shakiness in her voice and tears filling with her eyes, she started apologizing to me and begging me to please forgive her and to not hate her. I was now uneasy and told her there was nothing she could say to make me hate her or that would require her to be so upset. She quietly said that there absolutely was. She was now trying to find the right words, and I could see that she was becoming more and more anxious. I see where this is going. When finally she spit out the words that my father may not have been my father. That she in fact had an affair around the same time that she became pregnant with me. I felt a wave of emotions all at once. I asked why after 47 years at the time that she was telling me this. She thought that my genetic test would show my DNA would not match and that of whom I believed was my father. She had panicked when I told her about the test, and the trip to see the family was actually her going to tell my actual father, who is still alive, of the situation, as he had no knowledge either. So he didn't even know he had a kid this whole time. I did get upset and explained that this test would not actually tell me anything about my father. It was just checking for a genetic cancer mutation. I began to cry and asked her, why now? Who, what, where, when, how? She told me that she spoke with him and was happy to have a daughter as he had all boys, and that he wanted to meet me. I told her I would have to think about this. He has a whole family, a wife, kids, and grandkids that I did not want to disrupt, but was open to speak in text or Facebook however he wanted. But to give me some time to process. My ultimate decision was I wanted a DNA test to show that he was in fact my biological father. That none of this was to get out to my own kids or anyone else in the family. I was protecting her from a falling out. My genetics did actually come back positive for the BRCA2 mutation, leaving me the only option of a bilateral mastectomy. I'm probably saying that right. Medical terms and words in general don't compute all the time. I did not want to think about who was who at that moment. I was taken into surgery only a week after that test, and the doctor explained in detail what had to be done. I did, however, do a secret DNA test, as did this man that I never knew. So having major surgery and trying to heal, I had many breakdowns. Her secret had now become our secret. The tests inevitably came back inconclusive, and I have opted out of meeting him. Not because I wasn't curious, just because I was damaged enough. I had to focus on my cancer journey and the health conditions that only I have within my family, so I don't need the DNA to tell me what we already knew and to ruin his family and potentially ruin what's left of ours. I am cancer free now. I could cry. Just over a year. Hallelujah. That makes me so happy. I could cry for real. Reel it in, Joss. So, am I the a-hole for not wanting to meet a man whom I have never known, potentially ruining his life from being a secret love child, who is only here based on a 47-year lie and wanting this to remain a secret from the rest of the family to protect my mom's integrity? Or should I allow myself to open up to the idea of meeting him now, who is now a 70-year-old man? You're definitely not an a-hole. You gotta do what's best for you in this situation. Whatever that may be, you have to do what's best for you. That doesn't make you an a-hole at all for not wanting to meet him. However, you could also open up the idea to meeting him since he is getting older, or you might lose that opportunity in the future with his age. So maybe consider it. However, your choice, baby. Your choice and your choice only. Next one also wants to be anonymous. Am I the a-hole for cutting off my brother and sister because they cut off our dad? Really long, but here we go. Backstory, I'm in the middle of 5 kids. My older sister Jay was adopted by my dad as a baby. Then came my brother H 1.5 years later. I followed 2.5 years after him. Little sister A was 1.5 years after me, and then my parents divorced. My little brother B came from a stepdad 6 years later. J and H were attached at the hip. H and I never really clicked much, but A and I were like twins, being 2 girls, and only 1.5 years apart. B is the baby and not relevant to the story because we have different dads. Growing up, my mom was an alcoholic. She's recovering now, yay. And the divorce was anything but nice. Mom is very hippy dippy, free love, but with Botox and hair extensions. And dad is much older and a simple military type church man. So very different vibes. We would see him once a week and every other weekend. Church was mandatory on his Sundays. When Jay got into her teenage years, she butted heads with my dad a lot. He treated her a bit differently since she wasn't blood. When she became a vegetarian, he wasn't encouraging. She had her crazy teenage moments and he wouldn't react the best. My mom was a lot more chill when it came to the punishments. Dad was the strict one. Mom drained him in child support, Botox, hair extensions, expensive clothes, a 6-bedroom home, and private schools with luxury vacations, and that was the lifestyle to maintain. My dad had to live on Social Security in a 2-bedroom apartment to make it work. Mom always made sure to remind us that we had it better with her every time that we got dropped off. She would tell us that my stepdad funded the good life and put down my dad about what he could provide. She would say he didn't pay child support, but that wasn't true. He showed me receipts years later. Now for the drama. When I was in middle school, my dad was able to finally take us on vacation. We would be driving from Florida to St. Louis for my grandpa's funeral. Mind you, this is my dad's dad, and the first vacation we were able to do was for a funeral, but he was trying to make the best of it. My mom and stepdad took us on so many vacations, it's stupid. Planes to top locations with 5-star accommodations, luxury activities, and amazing food. Blah, blah, blah. Dropping us off, my mom was doing her usual "your dad sucks" routine. You have to drive for 2 days in a tiny car. That's gonna be awful. I hope you're ready to sleep in the basement on a couch at his family's house. I can't believe you're only going for a funeral. What fun is that? We were all crying as we pulled up. She had gaslit all of us for not wanting to go. Screaming and ensued, and I don't remember it all, but somehow J and H, older bro and sis, didn't have to go. Me and little sister A went, and honestly, we had a blast. The funeral was sad, but we met tons of family and played and laughed so much. This was the start of the end though, because neither J or H ever went back to stay with my dad. A few years later, in junior high school, J and H are both in college. H has always been a mama's boy, like in an unhealthy way. My mom always treated the boys better than the girls, but that is a whole other story.
I'm in the middle of filming videos, but I just need a little snacky snack. So I'm coming to the kitchen to just get one. It gives me energy to keep filming videos, okay?
So when H went for college, my mom's drinking got so bad because she couldn't handle losing her baby boy. Like he had died or some crap. I was a teen and I acted out, and I was taken away for the summer before my senior year. My mom's gaslighting had worked to some extent, and we were rebellious teens, so neither me or A were going to visit dad often. Maybe once a month, if that. We were put in foster care and placed with my aunt because neither of us wanted to be with dad at this point. We were so brainwashed. 2013, I ended up leaving my aunt's, staying with my boyfriend's parents closer to school, and graduating high school ASAP. Got my own place, worked 3 jobs just to survive for a while. I struggled for a bit there. She's 1.5 years younger than me, so she hadn't aged out of the system at this point. She ended up dropping out of high school, getting pregnant, and leaving the baby dad soon after. She had time on drugs and moved around a lot. She was on drugs and technically homeless when she gave birth to my niece. A is a pathological liar who won't admit to being wrong in any way, so she still won't admit to this fact. We all know because my niece has disabilities and delays. Now, 2017. A invited my dad to meet her baby at the hospital. It had been a few years and things were awkward with him, but it was an attempt to move forward with him. He was hurt though. As we tapered off from visits, things were said, lies were told, actions were taken, and my dad is a no-nonsense type of guy. He wanted to apologize and he wanted acknowledgement of wrongdoing, wings. She's too immature for that, so he didn't go to meet my niece. Now, I need to note that I did my fair share of bad too, but I owned up to it, apologized, and gave him that acknowledgement. A couldn't grow up, so my dad was still upset. Now, over this time of turmoil between 2012 to 2017, I graduated high school in 2013 and I went right to work to survive. I lost my sports scholarship senior year because I had to work being in foster care. So, community college it was. I was on the end and I was struggling bad. My mom was the worst she had ever gotten with her drinking and we didn't speak. Jay graduated university, had my nephew, lost her fiance in an accident, met someone new, got married, and had baby number 2. Dad heard about everything from me. Jay has not spoken to him since the funeral vacation. H is off living his best life at university. My mom got him a car and funded his parties while he got his degree. I worked 3 jobs and could barely afford gas or food, but whatever. He met a girl and they got engaged. Dad didn't know about the engagement. Dad is hearing all of their life events through me, and I can see that he is progressively becoming sadder, missing out on them. He would try to send happy birthday or Merry Christmas texts and not even get a response back. I need to hydrate, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm doing a lot of reading, okay? We're gonna hydrate. Grab some water. You need it. All right. Cheers. I heard around this time that H agreed to meet with my dad for wings. Dad waited 3 hours and H never showed. Fast forward to H's wedding in 2021. My mom was at rock bottom, getting out of rehab the month before. She had been so nasty to H's fiance, he finally stopped kissing ass and put her in. At the rehearsal dinner, H pulls us 3 sisters to the side. We all had Dad's last name. H announces that he will be dropping our last name and taking his wife's, and he wanted to do some kind of stupid toast for it. I left the rehearsal and cried in the parking lot to not make a scene. A and J noticed I got upset and I followed me. I was pissed because H is the only son with cousins and all that on that side. The family name just dies. I couldn't understand how, after everything Mom did, that she was there at the wedding being given a chance after chance. And my stepdad was there, but Dad had been abandoned at a restaurant, not even given a chance to make it right. And now you want to remove him for good with no explanation? I still to this day don't know why the FH didn't go on vacation in the first place. I looked at Jay and said I understood her side. She wasn't his blood and that was noticed growing up, so she didn't owe him anything. But H and A is shoved so far up my mom's ass and the brown nosing was starting to smell. A's immaturity and deceitfulness was keeping her petty for no reason. J and H both left that conversation open to seeing him for lunch all together sometime. Never happened. Fast forward to last year in 2024. My dad and I have a good relationship. I have to tiptoe around family conversation and not share news about the siblings because it just breaks his heart. He is 78 now, although he's always been healthy. The age is catching up and I worry about the time that we have left. We live close, but I don't see him often. I put out an SOS. It's a sibling group chat with a message, and I said that I was worried about his wife being manipulative. Their responses were nothing but nasty. It caught me off guard. I was trying to make them realize that he's getting older and they're all going to regret all of it one day, but their hearts are black stone. I still don't know why H is so angry, and I thought that he could get some insight, so I asked him for some time on the phone. He calls me in a rush on his way to the gym and puts me on speaker in his car while his wife listens in. I already don't like her and I didn't want her involved. They clearly didn't care. It has been over a year and the fam tried to invite me to H's baby shower in September. I immediately denied the request and told them to remove me. I do not want to be involved in their lives at all, and my entire family is saying that I'm holding an unnecessary grudge. I just want them to know what the hurt feels like, but am I taking it too far? Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Am I the a-hole for cutting out my brother and sister? Truly, I feel like there's so much between these family dynamics and these different relationships that you all have to do what's best for you. If they don't want a relationship with your dad, that's their boundary to make, and I think you have to kind of accept that. And you can also have your own relationship with your dad and your own boundaries. I'm sad to hear your family's all broken up, to be honest. I don't know. You guys all have to do what's best for you as individuals. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy.